But you know, no matter how difficult or hard it is, if you have one baby at a time, it's a piece of cake. It's a piece of cake. Anybody can have one baby. There's nothing to it. A piece of cake. I don't care how tough they are. My first kid, Nikki. Nikki's a real successful girl, an account manager. She's a valedictorian. She's beautiful. She never has to buy a drink in a bar. She's just great, but man, was she high maintenance. When I would take her to the store, she'd run down the aisle, tear other things off the wall. My wife and I would have to eat in shifts when we go out to eat. And she's still high maintenance, just ask her husband, Justin. She thinks she's a Latina. She actually does. She's blonde, but she's Latina. She's a Latina. She has her GPS in Spanish. That really works well when you're on a trip with her and she decides to take a nap and you have to drive. Spanish guys. And you know what? The thing is, though, when she was a baby, as tough as she was, oh, by the way, if you guys, you know who Pesa Puma is? Yeah. Bad Bunny? You know, I should think you're a real rube if you don't know who they are. Spanish. What do you think about that? But, you know, when she was a baby, I had 4 weeks off of maternity leave. All I did is play golf. But then, 4 years later, we had twins. Twin boys. Let me tell you something. Having twins is not twice as tough as having one. It's not twice as tough. It's 100 times harder. It's 100 times harder. You get no sleep, absolutely none. Because when they have those 4 or 5 wake-up calls in the night, they don't synchronize that play. They stagger it. So it's about 10 or 11 of them. You never get a chance. And they stagger it throughout the day, too. There's never a time where one isn't eating, shitting, or crying. Never. And we knew it was going to be tougher, but we had no idea until the night I went down to pick the babies and my wife up at the hospital. And I thought I'd be there about a half an hour. Try 3.5. We couldn't get out of the place. Every time we were going to leave, one would shit his pants. And the other one would shit, and shit, and shit, and eat, and shit, and shit, and eat. And after about 2 hours, I looked at my wife and she was like, "We're never leaving. This is a Hotel California." But eventually we made it home about 10:30. Somehow made it through Saturday night, made it through Sunday, and then the cavalry was coming. Because we had hired a part-time nanny, 8 to 4, Mondays through Fridays. And no, I didn't Doug M off her. I left her alone. You guys don't know Doug M off this? Somebody is playing me later. Anyway, I left the nanny alone. I didn't mess with the nanny. I wanted her awake and alive and full of energy because we were pathetic. You should have seen when she'd back out every day at 4 p.m. My wife and I would stand in the kitchen window and went, "No, come back." But you know, those first 2 weeks really wore us out. I got worn out to the point of exhaustion until I got sick. Because I'm not smart enough to change my routine when things change in my life. So, you know, for my workout back then, I was doing distance running. And I continued to do that, even though I wasn't getting any sleep. And after 2 weeks on a Monday night, I was so exhausted, I got physically ill. I threw up. And it was about 10:30 Monday night. Afterwards, I'm laying out on the couch with a cold wet rag in my head. And these are the moments that you will always remember where your wife, your spouse, you bond together in these tough times. Brings you close. I'll never forget it. My wife came out in the living room. She knelt down next to me by the couch. And she whispered in my ear, "Listen, motherfucker, you're not getting out of any work. You can't get sick. Quit your goddamn running." I always remember that. But you know, I had 6 weeks off of paternity leave back then, and all I could do was try to get out of the house. I just kept thinking of excuses. Do we need diapers? I'll go. Formula. Does your mom need to be picked up at the airport? I'll do it. But finally, the 6 weeks ended. I got to go back to work. You've never seen a high school teacher happier to go back and see his students than I was. My God, I was like I was on work release. Like a prison thing, you know, they let me out in the day, where I have to come back and get locked up. I think they call it the Huber Law in Wisconsin. I was so excited to go to work. It was such a different attitude than the other teachers. On Monday mornings, I could be just happier than hell. And they'd come dragging in. Then on Fridays, when they got to hop in their stuff, I'd be, oh God. But you know, one good thing about having kids that I bet you haven't thought of is they provide excuses for you to get out of things. I mean, I got a bag full of excuses anyway. I'm always trying to get out of stuff. I didn't even have to dip into my bag during the time I had kids. All I had to say, I have to watch my kid. I have to take my kid here. I got to pick the kid up. And you know, I used it for 4 years with Nikki. And then she was going to go into kindergarten. I thought, geez, that excuse is going to dry up. Lord, we need to have another baby. And so we did, and we had twins, so the joke was on us.